Finally, Florida is one step closer to attracting more social workers to the state. The House approved a bill that would allow Florida to join the Social Work Licensure Compact. 31 other states are already members. Right now, social workers have to start the licensing process over again to work in Florida. If Florida joins the compact, then a social worker with a clean, active license in their home state can apply for a multi-state license.
We don't have enough behavioral health workers. We need more capacity there, and this is something allowing our social workers to continue to work with their clients, even if they have to leave town and be out of state for a bit. So it gives us more access to care.
And Florida ranks near the bottom for the number of social workers nationwide.